This week was E3 and all the major battles have already been fought. Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have had their press conferences, so how were they? We've got a lot to talk about today, but before we get to that, this E3 recap is brought to you by What's Trending. What do Tim Tebow, Jimmy Johnson, and John Legend have in common? Nothing to do with video games, but they're all supporting Samsung's Hope for Children Gala. So if you want to support the cause as well, you can click the link in the info or the annotation to check out videos from the event. Now on to E3. So I am going to be talking about the E3 press conferences from the big three companies and a couple of other notable mentions, so if I missed anything, we'll talk about it sooner or later. Now let's start with Microsoft. They started out right out of the gate with Halo 4, which looked really, really incredible and really exciting. It looks like 343 Studios is really kind of taking Halo and making it their own. I hate to say it looks more epic, but it looks more epic, especially with new enemies that are apparently Forerunners. It looks like they're really catering to Halo fans, but taking it to the next level. We also got a new look at the Tomb Raider origin story, which was revealed last year at E3, but this year we got to see some actual real gameplay action out of it. While it's not as dark and scary as it originally seemed to be, it actually seems like it has a bit more of an Uncharted vibe, like action and running and jumping. It still looks like a really, really solid game that kind of puts you in weird situations as a woman, which is really cool, and they don't do that enough in games. I'm looking forward to that. Once again, Microsoft also showed us Fable the Journey, the Kinect Fable game that no one cares about, where you can shoot magic from your hands. It still really doesn't look impressive, and I actually think I heard yawns from the audience. What surprised a lot of people was the announcement of Splinter Cell Blacklist, finally a new Splinter Cell entry in the franchise. One of my favorite series. This one definitely looks like it's following in the footsteps of Conviction, in terms of it being really action-packed, and Fisher's got a lot of cool moves. He's marking and executing targets while running and knifing guys and keep on running, kind of like Assassin's Creed, which all looks really cool, except the fact that it's in the daytime, which is very unlike Splinter Cell, and it's incredibly action-packed with machine gun fire and everything. It still looks great, and Sam Fisher still looks awesome, so I can't wait for that. Then Trey Parker and Matt Stone took to the stage to announce their South Park game, The Stick of Truth. They revealed a trailer, which the game looks awesome. They really nailed the look of South Park and made it what looks to be like a really cool little fun RPG. Madden 13 also looks really impressive, coming from a guy who doesn't really play that much football and just gets beat up a lot. Joe Montana, the football player guy, he came out to demonstrate the Kinect voice features. You can call plays and hut like the ball and stuff, and it looks really cool. Madden 13, they're calling it the first football RPG, which I like anything with RPG, so that could be worth a try. We also got to look at Dance Central 3 featuring Usher, the quest for relevance. That's not what it's actually called, but that's how I felt watching Usher perform on stage. You know, Dance Central is actually really cool. It's way better than, what's that other one? Just Dance for the Wii, where you just wave the Wii stick. That's not dancing. Dancing is dancing for the Kinect, and I think these games are cool. We also got a live gameplay demo of Resident Evil 6, which blew my mind. As much as we talk about Resident Evil 6 on the show and how it's kind of crapping on survival horror and stuff, it really looks like it's coming to its own as a really cool action horror franchise, and the vibe and tone and dark atmosphere that this game looks to have is like nothing I've ever seen before, so I'm really excited for it. And finally, Microsoft hyped it up and then closed out the show with something that we've already seen before, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which Black Ops being one of my favorite Call of Duties, this one looks really great. A lot of emphasis on story, but still over-the-top crazy action expected from the Call of Duty franchise. Skyscrapers are falling in front of your face. You're controlling drones with machine guns on your wrist. It all looks really impressive, and I can't wait to play more of that. Later on the first day of E3, Sony took to the stage to show us what they had, and they started out with Beyond, a new title from Quantic Dream and David Cage, the guys who made Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy and stuff like that. I'm a big fan, but those type of games aren't for everyone. Beyond looks to be the same. It stars Ellen Page. She's not only using her voice in the game, her face is in the game. She's playing this role. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other good actors in it, but so far it looks to be a really interesting kind of action, mystery, thriller, supernatural thing. I don't know. It looks good, but from the trailer that we got, we didn't get any indication of what type of game it will actually be, so it's still up in the air right now. Next, we got to see a live gameplay demo of God of War Ascension. It looks to be more of the same. Kratos killing goat people, and now he's killing elephant people. Elephant people are confirmed. I'm really excited for that. As much as it is more of the same, that's nothing wrong with that. We also got a quick look at Far Cry 3 multiplayer, 4-player co-op, which was pretty cool but fairly standard, and 2 new characters for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, Nathan Drake and Big Daddy from BioShock. That's really weird, but really cool. With Ubisoft showing a lot of Assassin's Creed 3 gameplay, we got to see at the Sony conference Assassin's Creed 3's naval combat gameplay, where you play as the main character, Connor, and he's on a boat in the Caribbean, and you control the boat, and you shoot at other pirate boats, and it looks really cool. It looks pretty simple and easy to do, but like the tower defense in Assassin's Creed Revelations, it could be just a pain in the ass and get in the way of the regular game. But we have yet to see, and it looks good for now. Touching on some new bullet points, Sony announced a new model for PlayStation Plus subscribers. They're going to be giving away more demos and more access to games and more trials and stuff. And I'm actually starting to think about subscribing to PlayStation Plus, to be honest. They also showed Wonder Books, an interactive move-enabled book reading thing with Harry Potter. I don't know, it bored a lot of people, but I mean, it is cool, but it had no place being there and then. While they did touch on the PlayStation Vita, they didn't really show enough. They did talk about a Black Ops title for it that they didn't really show, and they quickly teased an Assassin's Creed 3 spin-off for the Vita, and you play as a lady assassin, and it looks cool, but there's not really enough for the PlayStation Vita, you know? And lastly, they closed out with gameplay from Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, and it looks incredible. Big surprise. I thought it was going to be a bit too much like Uncharted, and there is a lot of shooting combat, but it looks really visceral and brutal and on a completely different level than Uncharted. The dynamics of how the characters react to each other in gameplay with like subtle cues like running out of bullets and the guy hears you click the trigger and he runs towards you, and the brutal melee combat, everything about this game that they showed really excited me, and I'm sure it excited a lot of people. So Sony definitely went out with a bang, a bit more than Microsoft did. Lastly, we have Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo. I was really hopeful for Nintendo and positively optimistic because they really needed to prove themselves this time. They had a bad year last year financially, and the Wii U we needed a reason to buy this thing, and they didn't really provide one, unfortunately. It started good. They came out saying that this conference would be all about the games, and it was, and I give them credit for that. And they started with Pikmin 3 for the Wii U, which looks really, really great. It looks great in high definition. The graphics look pretty decent for the Wii U, and it adds a lot of new things, really changing up Pikmin, and it looks like a lot of freaking fun, especially with the gamepad thing. They kept knocking it out of the park. Then they showed us a new Super Mario Bros. U, which also looked crazy in high definition. It looked a bit of like the one for Wii, but, you know, nothing is wrong with more of the same of Mario, so that was good. Then they also talked about Nintendo Land, a collection of mini-games probably akin to Wii Sports. It'll probably be packaged with it. It's a carnival-themed game where your Miis walk around and engage in mini-games based on Nintendo-themed games. Like there's like a Donkey Kong game, there's a little Zelda arrow shooting mini-game, a little Luigi's Mansion, like Pac-Man type of game. It all looked kind of like distracting and not really showing off enough of why we need this Wii U and what it's really capable of. And then that was it. That was all they had. That's all Nintendo had to give us. For third party, they had third party stuff. They started with Arkham City Armored Edition, which is cool because you can do all this bat gadgets on your padamabobber, your gamepad, whatever. But other than that, it's still, I hate to say it, but it's kind of tacked on, and it's still kind of a gimmick thrown in, as was a lot of third-party games for the Wii. And not only that, it didn't look like Arkham City was really performing very well on this system. The graphics looked a bit toned down, which, I mean, it's a next-generation thing, but it's still struggling to keep up with the Xbox and PS3. So what's up with that? They also came out and showed us Sing, which is a working title. It's a karaoke game, and you can hold up your gamepad and read the lyrics on the thing and sing with all your friends. It actually looks like it could be a freaking hit because the guys who made DJ Hero are making it, and whatever they touch turns to fun gold. They also showed a couple of other quick third-party games such as Mass Effect 3, which is like, what? And Aliens Colonial Marines. This is all really great, but these are all games that we've already either played or we know full well about. But what surprisingly blew me away was Lego City Undercover, which is kind of like a Grand Theft Auto Legoland, I guess that's what you could call it, with kind of like you're like a little CSI Lego guy. And God, it looks so awesome. If that's a Wii exclusive, which I'm not sure, I should know that, but if it's a Wii exclusive, I'll get the Wii U for that, honestly. I mean, it doesn't really take advantage of the system, the gamepad, as much, but It looks awesome. Ubisoft came out to show us Zombie U, which is a Wii U third-party title, which a lot of people are buzzing about, and I get it. It's a first-person zombie survival game akin to like Dead Island or Left 4 Dead or something like that, but it intuitively uses the gamepad in a lot of ways. Like you got to look down and rummage through your backpack for stuff and pick locks and do all kinds of cool stuff, but that's it. The game looks horrible. The actual game looks like Dead Island if it was made in 2002. So I don't really know what the hype is there for that. Despite that, they had a solid lineup for the DS. They have a lot of cool games coming out for the DS, which is admirable considering the PlayStation Vita wasn't getting as much. So that was Nintendo. They still didn't really give us a reason to buy the Wii U, and they just had a hard time explaining to us what it is. I feel like the Wii U, they have a really great idea for hardware. Like they came up with this genius idea with this gamepad on the screen and then the TV, but they still haven't come out with any software or any actual titles to use the idea. Like they haven't fully figured it out because nothing feels organic yet, and that's going to be a problem for them. Two other little notable mentions that I can hit from E3 real quick is Watch Dogs and Star Wars 1313. Watch Dogs looks incredible. It's being shown on a PC, but it's supposed to be for Xbox 360, PS3, and next-gen systems, and honestly, it looks like a next-gen game. In Watch Dogs, you basically wander the super detailed Chicago city streets as this cool guy in a trench coat, and you have a cell phone that basically you can hack into cars, streetlights, traffic lights, ATM machines, people's cell phones, and it looks really, really cool. It's also got a bit of like Grand Theft Auto, open world shooting and driving, but it really looks like it takes it to a whole other level. I'm really, really excited for it. It might even be best in show for me. Also, LucasArts showed us quick glimpses of Star Wars 1313, which also looks really, really impressive and looks to be a next-gen title. It takes place on the lower levels of Coruscant and looks to be kind of like a gritty, seedier side of Star Wars as you play a cool but kind of doofy-looking bounty hunter, and you explore the criminal underworld. It looks like it reminds me a lot of Mass Effect 2 when you're on that planet, I don't know, and you deal with all the gangsters and stuff. It really looks to be like that, but it looks action-packed. So I can't wait to see what Star Wars 1313 brings to the table for us. So those were the three big conferences from E3, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo. I'm not really going to say which one I think was better because they all did very better than last year. Last year was a really embarrassing E3. But that's up to you guys. Let us know in the comments what you think was the best conference, who had the best lineup, who had the silliest stuff going on. Let us know. Start a war. Fight about it. I don't know. That's pretty much it.